It says the complicated relationship between NBA players and the media. Stephen A. and Paul George discuss. Let's see what they got to say, man. I'm dead ass interested.
We're growing in this space now from the OGs doing it with Matt Barnes, Steven Jack, myself and the younger generation, Pat Bev, all of us jumping into this podcast world. With the success that we've been having in this space, what's your honest takeaway from us being, as athletes, being in this content space?
I'm incredibly proud of y'all. I think that there's a lot of people in the business that won't admit it, but they don't want y'all to succeed.
From a competitive standpoint?
They don't want y'all to succeed.
I had that theory. Not that I think media members don't want NBA players to succeed, but I really think NBA players going out of their way to become a part of the media is really gonna hurt a lot of content creators and media's staying power when it comes to this content shit. And I'm not gonna lie, including myself. Instead of hearing Joe Schmo talk about basketball and talk about the NBA from a fan perspective, you know what I'm saying, or even from a media perspective, I think there's a lot more value in NBA players going out of their way to be the media themselves, to set their own narratives, and also just even from an entertainment standpoint, they're going to have way more insight on the game because of the fact that they play the game. They're also, a lot of them are really well articulate about the game because they play the game at a professional level. And just certain stories, you just cannot hear unless you are an NBA player. Certain connections, certain guests, you just cannot have on your podcast unless you are a NBA player or like really connected within the NBA, which as an NBA player, you inherently are. You know what I'm saying? Essentially, they have a really, within sports media, listen, bro, the number one rule in content creation is try to stand out as much as possible. And that's really in economics and, you know what I'm saying, just marketing in general. What can you do to make your product stand out as much as possible? NBA players stand out for a bunch of reasons. And they have a really big competitive advantage over everyone. So,
but what I would ask you
and peace out, Chris John.
to consider is that have some compassion for them who feel that way. Because here's what they're not going to tell you. You getting 35, 40 million already. This is our job. You successful, you take more opportunities away from it. It's almost like an actor that you out there working hard to perfect your craft and they striking, but we ain't worried about y'all. We got reality TV here. You see what I'm saying? You taking jobs from folks. And so they're not telling that. I've been blessed and fortunate where that's not a concern that I have. And so because of that, it's like, then I look at the other side to it. I'm not just a black man, I'm a brother. And so when I see brothers out there diversifying their portfolio and maximizing the opportunities that will potentially be available to them.
Am I getting a sub badge?
Not only am I rooting for y'all,
the stream.
I have an obligation to help you if you ask. That's why when they said, Paul George, once you come, I'm there. Draymond wanted me, I'm there. Because I want him to succeed. I want you to succeed. I want everybody to succeed. I think there's room for everybody, to believe it or not. And I think that you have a lot of people that they don't believe that y'all are going to be completely authentic and honest with one another, A. They don't believe that you're really, really going to invest yourself in this industry, number two. They think you're doing it just to kick out the fourth estate, which is the media, and to talk amongst ourselves. And my attitude is, that's your problem.
Hey, Stephen A. spitting, bro. Stephen A. spitting. Even within NBA YouTube, I'm gonna be honest, I used to have this mentality of like, NBA YouTube is so small that like certain creators have a really big effect on the future of this side of YouTube. And I'm gonna be blunt with it because I feel like I'm tiptoeing around it. A couple years ago, essentially I had some beef with Flight Mike. Me, Low, and a couple other creators had some beef with Flight Mike because we felt as if, like, the fact that this dude is just spamming videos on a daily basis and was clickbaiting OD was really ruining the space for a lot of creators. A lot of creators. And I'm not gonna lie, I amended that beef between me and Flight Mike for a moment, and then I went on peer-to-peer, and, hey, motherfuckers started instigating, and I ain't gonna lie, it looked like I was on low side again when it came to that shit. But in all honesty, I truly did not care at that point in time already. But essentially, looking back, I really don't think like it was that big of a deal because of how big NBA YouTube is. You know what I'm saying? This idea that this one creator is just gonna fuck up the whole space for everyone, I think is doing a disservice to how big sports media is. So going back to what Stephen A is saying, even if your concern is that, NBA players are just gonna take over the space and they're just gonna talk amongst each other and never really spill the beans, and you know what I'm saying, they're gonna be too PC. I don't think that's going to be the case, and I don't think that will be the case because, again, sports media as a whole is big enough for every single, for so many different creators and so many different personalities to succeed. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the pros and cons with sports media as a whole right now, is the variety of choices that people have when it comes to consuming their content. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you feel like Podcast P is being too PC and they don't really want to criticize people enough and this, that, and the third, that's when you go to Player's Choice and really get into the meat and potatoes and have these discussions within people that are ready to argue, who are more critical of players, and vice versa. If you feel like, a platform like Player's Choice, they don't watch games enough and they're just basketball reference nerds and they're overcritical of players, then you can just watch All the Smoke. You can watch Podcast P. You can watch the JJ Redick podcast. There's so many other different avenues you can watch now. So,
Draymond and PG and KG and Matt Barnes with Stacks and all that don't stop this train. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. You know what I'm saying? Right. I got my audience, and it's my obligation to go out there and get an audience. Right. And so, to me, y'all got something to be worried about because there's people that's coming and they don't really want you to succeed, but in the same breath, you sort of don't have something
names
to worry
too, though.
about.
I want names.
Because you got a brother like me watching y'all back who's in the industry.
Mm-hmm. I want names.
So my point
I want names.
In all of it is
it Dan Le Batard?
Understand the platform that you have. Understand that it's growing. But the one advice that I would give, stop falling for the same old stuff that most of these athletes fall for when they say the media, the media, the media. No. If you're going to be in the media doing a podcast and everything else, you have an obligation to dissect specifically who you support and who you're against. Mm-hmm. Who you think favors you, who you think don't. It can't be, it's just the media. You know what I'm saying? It can't be that. Because when you do that, then you castigating everybody. And that's like a cat in the NBA. All right, this cat got arrested for drunken driving. All right, this cat had a domestic violence issue. All right, this cat is arrested for assault. And white media, like in years past, not necessarily now, but definitely in years past, you see these NBA players?
Right.
No, it was three of them.
Categorize everybody.
It was three of them. Yeah. It was three of them.
But I feel in our perspective, right? This is our work.
That's the problem with media as a whole, bro. I feel like, honestly, I thought it'd be better. I thought we have gotten so progressive as a society that generalizations would not be as big of a problem as it is. But I swear to God, it's as big of I won't say as big as a problem as it ever was, but it's still a really big problem in the world today, bro. Over generalizations of groups of people must be fucking stopped. Must be stopped, bro. We got words. Let's be more specific with who the fuck we're talking about, bro.
It's our livelihood. This is our job.
Yep.
And I felt this way for part of my career.
Sure.
Of like, damn, I'm off the media too. Yep. I don't want to talk to this person. Yep. I don't want to talk to that person. Leave me alone, right? They beat me up enough. They've said this thing about me. Granted, like, I'm trying the best that I can. Sometimes I come up short. That's cool. I got to live with that.
Right.
That's not for you to dissect and tell me I should have did this. I know what I got to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
So when it comes to that, it comes to a point of, like, at that point, I'm going to just remove myself.
Got you.
And I'm going to take myself away from talking to the media.
Right.
Because regardless what I say, it's going to come out the wrong way anyways. Right. Whatever point I'm trying to make, they're going to take that and run with it.
Well, I got it.
And so that's what brought me to the conclusion of doing my podcast.
Right.
Because now I can express how I feel. I can say what I want. And I know it's coming straight from the mouth of me. I don't got to worry about clickbait. I had this conversation with this personnel, and this is the part that he wanted to put in his story. It's coming from me now. It's my story.
That's cool. And you're right to do that.
That's cool.
You're not wrong. Right? So anybody that tells you you're wrong
that's cool.
is wrong. But there's a flip side to it that you might not have considered. Did you know that if a reporter walks up, let's say, for example, Paul George is, yo, man, I think I'm worth $50 million. I want this contract. And then you struggling. Do you know that if that reporter goes up to you and doesn't ask you about that, the editor's like, come here. Why do I have you on the beat? You going home. You got to understand that everybody has a job to do. A lot of times, particularly if it's a beat writer and it's somebody that's in their locker room after every game and is talking, is cultivating a relationship with you, they know you, so the last thing they want to do is come up to you and ask you that question. They have no choice because their job is on the line. And no matter how bad your game was that day, your contract guaranteed. And it's for...
I get what Stephen A. is saying, but I still think it's a bad argument to rebuttal what Paul George is saying. Because ultimately the criticism is towards media. And that whole dynamic right there of bureaucracy, that still is what players have a problem with the media. Is the fact that people are incentivized to clickbait. It is people are incentivized to try to get these hot takes off these players when, you know, they really don't want to say this shit half the time. And now they're being put in a bad light for honestly no fucking reason. You know what I'm saying? So,
or a gazillion times more than that journalist made. You know, you got cats that, and they're going to remain nameless as players because I'm not going to do that to them. But when I went hard on a couple of superstar players.
Hey, yo.
I happen to know for a fact they tried to get a couple of journalists fired. And it's because the journalists asked them about something that they were hearing. And they brought up the brother. But when Woj reported it, or Shams reported it, you ain't say shit.
Oh, shit.
Now, see,
that's shit.
When Stephen A., that Bronx, that Queens dude comes out. Oh, so we gonna call a brother out making 75, 85, maybe 100,000 that they can wipe off the map in a heartbeat, and you fucking know it.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
And you would do that to him. But the white dude, Woj, Shams, whatever, and I work, Woj and I have a good relationship, respect the hell out of him. He's the ultimate insider, stuff like that. Shams does a great job as well. I'm not throwing no shade on them. Right. I'm saying, I'm watching the athlete. You said nothing. You said nothing. And that's when you see me, you like, what's wrong with Stephen A? Why he coming like that? What's going on? Because I'm pissed. Because I know intel, and I know what you're doing, and I know how you tried to do it. You sit up there one time, and it's like, KD talk about people don't know what they talk about, and I love KD. That's my dog. I love him to death. But he was talking about people don't know what the hell they talk about when they were talking about him wanting to leave OKC. And you going off. Mm-hmm. But then you left.
Oh, shit.
You left. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? They weren't lying. They weren't lying. You know, I mean, it's like you see cats and it's like, yo, you making tens of millions per. You getting mad and trying to.
He definitely talking about KD though. I ain't gonna lie, Chad. He's definitely talking about KD. I feel like he's definitely either talking about KD or Kyrie trying to get a media member fired because they put out some shit that they thought was out of pocket, but in reality was actually true. That's my bet. I ain't gonna lie.
And the careers of cats, because if they get fired, how many brothers gonna get fired? You working at Yahoo Sports, you working at ESPN, you working at some other network, and you get bounced out. How many brothers you can look at and say, yo, you gonna have another job tomorrow? It ain't like that. And it doesn't ever cross their mind.
That's so interesting because I also have that take about working for creators, bro. I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think it's sustainable to work for creators because of the fact that, yo, you can get this high-paying job at this certain, working for this YouTuber or working at this company, but if you get fired, how many other creators and entities out there, number one, are available, number two, are hiring, and number three, would pay you that rate that you're used to? So the same thing with sports media. You could work for ESPN. It's a dream fucking job. Dream job. ESPN, if you want to be in sports media, ESPN is the goal for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? But if you get fired from ESPN, and let's say you were getting paid $80,000 to $100,000 a year to work for ESPN, you got used to that lifestyle, made a bunch of investments, assuming that's going to be your lifestyle for a long fucking period of time. And then you get fired. How many sports entities out there are going to pay you ESPN money? I'm going to be honest, not a lot. Not a lot.
And so for me, I understand what you're saying, but I would use Roy Williams, a former basketball coach in North Carolina. He was at Kansas. They lose the national title game. And the reporter
That's what's up, Kobe.
has to ask him, are you going to leave Kansas City? Kansas, is this your last game? Or are you going to North Carolina? Now, who the hell don't know? That's the worst. That's the absolute last question he wants. He just lost the national title. He got kids in the locker room crying. Nobody wants to do that. That reporter had no choice because the producers in her ear and the bosses are back in the studio. You better ask this question. And by the way, it's not subliminal. They literally have an IFB in their ear, and they're telling them, ask the question. Ask the question. The difference between me and most, I have the power to take the IFB out. Shut the hell up.
Oh, shit.
I ain't asking that. This is what I'm going to ask.
Oh, shit.
But even I have a tenets of journalism that I have to ask. If you sat up there and just got arrested last night and you come on my show today, I got an obligation to ask you what happened. Look at Hugh Grant. He got caught cheating on his wife years ago. He went on a late night show. It was comedy. And Jay Leno opened the interview. What the hell were you thinking? And the whole crowd burst into laughter. That was his way of having to address what needed to be addressed because it comes along with the tenets of journalism, which you as athletes don't necessarily have. That doesn't make you wrong. That doesn't disqualify you from having a podcast or anything like that. But understand your role is different.
I think, though, in that you brought it up with athletes, like this is the field that this is what we signed up for, right?
Yeah.
I think that goes in the same tone with journalists, right?
Okay.
This is what they signed up for.
Right.
So I think it's tough for you guys to ask us, because it's an emotional sport.
Sure.
Sports in general, it's an emotional
Right.
ride. Whether we're winning, we're losing, good times, bad times, shit that we got to carry from home into our field, vice versa.
Right.
Like it's chaotic at times.
Right.
And I think you guys can tell the story of what it's like being just human beings.
Sure.
You know, I think a lot of the pictures that being painted is that we're superstars, we're superheroes, we can do this, we can do that. We're put on this pedestal of being able to, you know, conquer anything, right? And that is the biggest issue that I have from a journalistic standpoint, that you guys fail to realize, hey, we fuck up too.
Right.
You know,
Well,
shit don't go our way too.
Well, we all understand this.
But and this is the problem. Here we go again with fucking generalizations, bro. Like, deadass, like, how many, that example that Paul George brought up, how many fucking media members are actually doing exactly that? Like, exactly that. I can't name an example off the top of my head. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of a stretch right there.
It's winners and losers. 'Cause. 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 ' But There's two things that I'll point out to shine a light on on what we're talking about, to give you an example of what can be annoying. So you'll have a situation where you like somebody like KD, who I consider to be one of the greatest players who's ever lived. And he's like, we just want to play ball. And we all the same, and it's a team effort.
He definitely talking about KD, yo. He's definitely talking about KD, bro.
And blah, blah, blah. He said this in the past. Did you say that when you went to the negotiating table?
No.
You damn right you didn't. You said, I'm special. You said, I'm special. I am not like anybody else.
That's true.
And I'm not talking about the public.
Yeah.
I'm talking about amongst the NBA ilk. I'm talking about cats that are a part of the fraternity of 450 plus players. That's it, in the world. You still went to the negotiating table and said, I'm one of the best. We expect to see that shit. And if you don't show it to us, we gonna point out that ain't what you said at the negotiating table. You see what I'm saying? You got LeBron. He used to drive me crazy with this. And that's why I came up with the tick on television. When I said, great dad, great husband, great director, great actor, great businessman. I did all of that. I said, did I miss anything? Did I miss anything? Because I got him as the second best player in the history of basketball. I got him ahead of Kareem. I got him behind no one but Jordan. And I said to Mr. Chirper himself, Rich Paul, my boy.
Shit.
And I said, you act like that's an insult. This dude, it is an insult. I said, get the fuck out of my face. Get the fuck out of my face.
No, that's crazy, yo.
Exactly what I said to him.
That's crazy.
I don't want to talk to you no more. You can't talk to me about it. When you gonna treat me like I'm disrespecting a man by calling him in the history of the game that started in 1947, you gonna tell me that I am disrespecting a man by having him number 2 all the time? You have lost your damn mind. I'm not talking to you. And so what I'm saying is this. You got cats that want the lofty accolades. They want to be renowned for this. And they want to be recognized as that. But LeBron, and you know this, you're gonna start laughing when I say this, because he's done this before. LeBron. Because I'm the best in the world. During the finals, remember that? When he's playing goes, I'm the best in the world, which he was. You know, that's how he felt, blah, blah, blah. They lose.
Okay.
Another year, wasn't the same series. Another year. I'm just trying to be best father that I could be and, be a good role model. God damn it, nobody's talking about that, man. You know good.
Yeah, no, that shit do be killing me, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That shit do be killing me, man. I ain't gonna lie. That shit is funny, man. Cause sometimes, bro, it's like, yo, why do you need to bring up you being a father, bro? Like, we're dead ass just talking about hoops. Like that is it. We're not talking about your character. We're not talking about this, that, and the third, bro. Credo said in the chat, Russ is a great dad. This is the dude y'all be slandering, bro. How do y'all feel about yourselves slandering this great father? And I'm over here sitting like, yo, we're just talking about his bad shot selection, bro. We're just talking about his misassignments on defense. We're just talking about these dumbass turnovers that he be making, bro. Like, goddamn. Jeez. I know people are talking passionately, but jeez, trust me, it's not hate. It is not hate, bro. God damn.
Damn well we talking about that damn jump shot you was shooting where you shot 2 for 10. Stop it. We nobody's questioning your character. You didn't ball that day. Yeah. You didn't ball. Why you gonna go there? You trying to be slick. You're damn right he did it. And it's like you're trying to be slick. Can we stick to ball, please? Nobody questioned your character. Nobody sat up there and said you're a scourge of the earth. You're not a role model. We don't love you. We don't care about you. Yo, you fucked up. You played bad that day. You'll play good tomorrow, but you play bad.
Look, the NBA season is...
Yo, bro, shout out to Podcast P, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Stephen A, bro. I'm going to watch the rest of that part on my own time, but that's definitely That was a good conversation, man. That was a good conversation. I feel like the best some of the best content on the internet right now is like the Jubilee shit, where they take when it comes to controversial conversations and polarizing conversations, they take two ends of the spectrum, put them in a fucking room, and actually talk it out. Because I feel like ultimately, That is really how you make progress with a lot of these conversations. But again, people just be stuck in their bubbles. People just be stuck in their echo chambers on social media and even in their real life. And they just think their way of thinking is the right way of thinking. And they just never open their mind up to the other side of things, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Stephen A. on Jubilee would be funny as fuck.